Lion's mane was given to 50 to 80-year-old people in Japan. There was cognitive improvement for the 8 weeks that they were taking it, and then the 4 weeks that they stopped taking it, their cognitive abilities decreased. Hi, this is Dom from Badwater. I wanted to get more specific about what potential benefits there are with lion's mane. I had a whole week going over a lot of the research behind lion's mane, and there isn't a fully congruent set of studies that show exactly what lion's mane does for the brain. What we know is that going down into some of the smaller compounds like arenosines, that there are direct benefits for the brain when taking lion's mane extract. What is lion's mane extract and what are potential benefits? First is that we have cognitive enhancement, that lion's mane can support memory, focus, and overall cognition. What I had an issue with last week with this topic was that there is a great double-blind placebo experiment that shows how lion's mane fruiting body extract, like what I make, can provide better memory and focus to participants. But the issue was that I wanted to know what was the active compound that caused this better memory. But so far, there hasn't been, I guess, a cellular level of interaction between the fruiting body and someone's cognition. The next one is nerve growth factor support. The production of NGF, which can help with nerve growth. The idea was that if you were able to stimulate nerve growth factor, you could help facilitate the creation of new neural pathways. The idea that you can literally change how your mind is structured as you are learning and doing things. The other benefit of nerve growth factor is that it's one of the main ways to combat Alzheimer's disease. So you're having the inflammation of neurons in the brain with Alzheimer's, and that's creating brain cell death that is occurring in someone with Alzheimer's. So right now, lion's mane is in active research about its relationship to Alzheimer's. There's a bunch of studies where it links the benefits of lion's mane to Alzheimer's, but there needs to be more long-term studies to show more of a correlation between what lion's mane can do for the brain and if it can actually treat Alzheimer's. There are studies where participants with depression were given lion's mane and they were regularly surveyed about their anxiety, and they found that people who took lion's mane did show lower symptoms of depression and anxiety. And there was an interesting other study that came out where lion's mane was given to maybe 50 to 80-year-old people in Japan. There was cognitive improvement for the 8 weeks that they were taking it, and then the 4 weeks that they stopped taking it, their cognitive abilities decreased. And I believe it had to do with mood as well. One of the most guaranteed ones you're going to get from lion's mane and other mushrooms in general is this idea of immune and gut health support. The idea of immune boosting properties with lion's mane mostly comes from its enhancement of the gut biome. There is an active compound in mushrooms called beta-glucans. They are a type of sugar that serves as a prebiotic for the gut microbiome. The microbiome is made of different bacteria that is beneficial to the human body. So that bacteria ferments the beta-glucans, and they produce short-chain fatty acids, which helps protect the stomach lining against substances from leaking into the bloodstream. Those fatty acids also help promote anti-inflammatory properties inside the stomach, and that helps with stomach and intestinal issues. A healthier gut would mean that your body is not working overtime in its immune response. There's another aspect where beta-glucans trigger the long-term memory of immune cells. Let's say that you have some kind of cause of inflammation in your body, but there's a bunch of immune cells that are not really working toward removing that inflammation. Sometimes it's not completely necessary to remove all inflammation. Inflammation helps regrow things as well. What a beta-glucan does is it triggers immune cells into fighting certain invaders that it wouldn't have otherwise. It is, in the most literal sense, an anti-inflammatory compound. The question is, do you always need anti-inflammatory things? No. Inflammation, as I said, is a natural part of the human body. If you are now mixing anti-inflammation properties with gut health, then you are going to be helping soothe your stomach and your intestinal system, which is pretty helpful. I would recommend that Fruiting Buddy extracts be used for gut health and then memory or focus because we've seen studies directly show that correlation so far. Mycelium extract contains erinacines, which directly stimulate nerve growth factor in cells, then that is one of the best ways for treating Alzheimer's and possibly depression. And that's what people have been studying in the last 10 years is its connection to depression. Somehow the fruiting body extract has been shown to treat depression as well. It's all up in the air because of that. But all I can tell you is that mycelium extract is the one that has erinacines. We know scientifically that that stimulates nerve growth factor. So if that's something you're looking for, go for mycelium extract. It's a more expensive supplement because it's much harder to make. It's a very experimental way of doing things by just growing the mycelium and extracting it. And just as a disclaimer, these answers just provide general information and is not medical advice. And consult with your doctor if you're going to be taking lion's mane. This is not Ritalin, where you are using this drug to directly affect how hormones and cells work in your body. Things are happening, but there's not enough research and especially not enough medical research to know exactly what is happening. So there are times where someone could be highly allergic to something like mushrooms or lion's mane. I have a lot of people that love the idea of medicinal mushrooms, but they can't take mushrooms because they're allergic to them. You might be one person of a million that could be allergic to mushrooms or lion's mane itself. So how is lion's mane extract typically consumed? You either have powder form, capsules, or tinctures. I personally use capsules. It's always been the easiest way to consume things, consume supplements. Tinctures are a very interesting way to use lion's mane extract. The usual catch with the tincture side of things is that by doing alcohol extraction of the fruiting body, you are getting certain benefits, but you are taking away the beta glucans, which are activated and available to the body once you boil or do a hot water extraction on the lion's mane. So you are missing one benefit with tinctures. And that's one reason why I haven't fully gone into the research of how to do a tincture. What is the recommended dosage? It is recommended that you take 500 to 3,000 milligrams per day. 500 is one capsule. That just means 1 to 6 capsules a day. Most people can just take one if they're looking for that long-term brain health, that just a long-term focus and clarity. But if you're looking to do an actual project, a very specific thing, I'd recommend 1,000 to 2,000 milligrams and up to 3,000. I personally take about 2,800 milligrams every day, but it's always best to start from a lower dose just to see where you're at, because if you already get enough out of 500 milligrams, why would you go higher? I found that I can get some noticeable effect from 1,000 milligrams, but I have some projects that I like to do on a daily level that I take quite a bit more per day. There's no such thing as overdosing with lion's mane because you could easily eat this as a gourmet mushroom and you're not going to be overdosing by eating it as a normal mushroom as well. Consult with your doctor about dosage. They probably won't know anything about lion's mane, so I don't think your normal doctor is going to be that useful. Go find a holistic doctor. When should I start seeing results? When you're taking it at small doses, 500, 1,000 milligrams, I would say that it could take days, weeks, or months before you start getting a real effect. I've seen a lot of people mention how they started feeling something after a few weeks or months. Personally, I feel something within a day, within 45 minutes, because I take such a high amount, but also the only other drug I really take is caffeine. There are a lot of other people that might be taking a bunch of supplements and a bunch of other types of upper type of drugs. There's a person that I helped supply lion's mane to so she could study her bar, and she used mostly lion's mane, but every couple of weeks she would use Adderall, and she would still think that lion's mane is just as good as Adderall. When you are mixing these drugs, you could the real pharmaceutical stuff is always going to feel stronger. It's just their shot of alcohol, while you're doing 0.5% kombucha when you're doing something like lion's mane. You know, if you have a lot of different drugs in your life, expect to have slower results because you might have a mental background where you're expecting something a lot faster, and you have a lot of these drugs that affect you a lot faster. If you are a person that pretty much drinks water and some tea, and tea gets you crazy, then I'm pretty sure you're going to feel lion's mane in about like an hour. But yeah, do be patient because you just don't want to waste the lion's mane that you have. Going hard on it, especially when you have a whole bunch of other drug interactions, is going to just waste the lion's mane. And I'd recommend that you just slowly take 500, 1,000 milligrams for a few weeks. And then if you're not really getting anything, get to 1,500 after those few weeks and see how it goes for you. Are there any side effects? I know people that don't like capsules, what capsules are made of. Capsules can be vegan, but they can also be made of like a gelatin. So that can cause digestive issues. There are people that can have allergic reactions to mushrooms, lion's mane, or maybe an active compound within lion's mane. It's highly unlikely, but it can happen. Lion's mane may interact with medications, but I have no idea about that. I haven't heard about something like that. And where can I buy lion's mane extract? You can buy it on Amazon, you can buy it anywhere. Just make sure that you are not just trying to source it from some random place. Well, the worst thing you do is try to buy something super cheap and it's not even lion's mane, it's just some random powder of some random mushroom, because it costs a little more to make lion's mane compared to other mushrooms, that could be easier to make. So you have to be careful of that. The other thing you should be careful of is it's not just the fruiting body powder. If it turns out to be the fruiting body powder, you're not going to get as much out of it. But if you perform your own hot water extraction, which is pour that powder in boiling water and simmer it for about 3 hours, you'll get something out of it. My lion's mane extract is made out of fruiting body powder, and then it is extracted through hot water extraction, just like that 3-hour simmering. I just make sure that I have the freshest lion's mane because I grow it right here. I just harvested about like 8 pounds of lion's mane right now, and I'm extracting it at the moment, which is why I kind of started this video. The freshness of the mushrooms is only guaranteed in a few places. Most places are going to have months old mushroom powder that they're turning into extract now. And when it's not as fresh, I can't guarantee what you can get out of it. And that's why I can think that there's a lot of people that don't get much out of lion's mane supplements because they went for the cheapest thing on Amazon, and there's no quality control with that. But there is a plug for Badwater ourselves, where we grow and extract and then pack and send it right to you, so you know that all this powder is made by hand. I just want to talk about the forms of lion's mane again. You'll have fruiting body extract, mycelium extract, and then you're going to have biomass, possibly extract. That's what I'm a little confused about. There's some research studies that they grow the mycelium in a substrate bag, and then they dehydrate that and powderize it, and then someone takes that. This is how Paul Stamets does it, but I'm not entirely sure if Paul Stamets extracts his biomass. They call this a biomass extract. It's not guaranteed that that was extracted. So you are eating a lot of mycelium. You're not eating any fruiting body at all with biomass. You are essentially eating a substrate with mycelium grown into it. The arenosines that are usually available in mycelium might be at very low quantities or not there at all. If they don't say biomass extract, then I don't know what happened with that. It's one of the more confusing forms of these extracts and these powders. I would avoid it. Paul Stamets is a cool guy though, so I'm hoping that he does an extraction of his biomass before he sells it to people, so they actually get the active compounds to help themselves. But yeah, that's all I have. Thank you for listening, and see you next week.